Today we're going to talk about fishing. For me, it started when I was 6 years old. My parents realized that I wasn't going to take no for an answer, so they ended up calling my grandfather up and asked him if he'd take me and my brother, and my parents came along and we went to a local pond and we caught some just little sunfish, and that was it. I was hooked, and ever since then I've just been a sponge trying to soak up as much as I can and get out there as often as I can and learn as much as I can. So I guess basically it started at 6, and then at 16 I ended up going and getting my own rod and reel and buying one for my brother, and took him. He's a couple years younger, so I take him to the little local ponds and lakes where we grew up, and we get some live bait and some bobbers. We didn't know what we were doing, so we would just, see what we can catch, and that was pretty much it until I started meeting other people. Ended up getting on some fishing forums and watching some shows on TV, researching on the internet, just looking up as much as I can, soaking up as much as I can, and soon thereafter I realized that walleye was definitely the fish that I loved to catch, the one that I wanted to just concentrate on more. The late fall bite by far is my favorite. I just love getting out there that time of year. I love that crisp cold air. I just enjoy being out there. It just makes me feel so good to be out there and just use all the information that I've gotten and just to put it in play. And it's so rewarding when you get that fish on. I don't know, everything in me just jumps up and is like, yay! I'm like a little kid on Christmas Eve when I catch a fish. The late fall though is just, it's so fun to get out there. It's an adventure. It's breaking ice to get on the lake. No one else is out there. People are driving by on the road looking at you like you're crazy. It's just fun. I mean, you get out there before the sun comes up. You're cold, but as soon as you catch that first fish, you don't feel the cold. It's a great feeling to hook into one of those fish when it's that impending ice and they have big fat bellies and they gotta eat, and you're running that crankbait through the water and they just stop it, and next thing you know, it's like they're gonna pull you out of the boat. It's just a good feeling. I love learning about all different species. I catch bass, crappie, bluegill, pike. If it swims, I'll catch it. I don't care. It's fun. I own a hair salon, and I talk to so many different people that fish through the years. My clientele has become more of a fishing clientele. They end up seeing, even if they don't fish, they know somebody who fishes, and they're like, you gotta go see this girl, she's got all these fishing pictures up and she catches all these big fish. And in this area it's a rarity for a female angler to be this into fishing. So it's kind of fun. They come in, they're all excited, they want to hear my stories, and a lot of them they'll kind of test me, so you fish, well, do you know this, or do you know that? And they'll test me, they'll ask me about turnover, things like that, which is fun. So we exchange a lot of techniques. We, talk tackle. They'll bring their tackle boxes in and their bags with plastics, and they'll ask me what I'm using, or they'll show me what they're getting them on, and that part I enjoy. I just enjoy talking about it almost as much as I enjoy fishing. Not quite. I love feeling that bite. It's a lot of fun to me. I love teaching other people. I have a few guys that come in every once in a while, and they'll bring in a map. They'll bring in like a contour map of the lake, and they'll be like, all right, I want to catch walleye. Show me on here where to catch them. And they hand me a pencil and they're like, mark where the walleye are, and they'll come back in a few weeks and they're like, I caught walleye. So they're all excited, and that I enjoy. I enjoy sharing my experiences with other people. There's so many people out there that just, they won't, they see someone will ask, well, what do you use and what do you catch them on, and they'll lie, and I don't like that. I think everybody should be able to catch fish. I was out the other day on the river, and I was with a friend of mine, and we were fishing the dam. We're just trying to get smallmouth, or pretty much whatever would bite, really, but the smallmouth are really hitting right now. and just using a little plastic. You know, I've been catching them on a little plastic with a little tail like this, and just a real light jig, which I'm going to throw across the room here. Just a little light jig, and just toss it out there and just jigging it a little bit, and just see what we could get. And we decided to go down by the dam, and I was throwing, my buddy happens to go to the same church as I do, so my husband and I went to church, and after church he's like, oh, I went out this morning, you know, I caught these fish. He's like, you want to go? So I always have my fishing pole in my car, so my husband's like, you go ahead, and me and my buddy went out over to the river, which is like 20 steps away, and we were throwing it into, you know, that right when right where the dam, right where it comes down, just throw them right into that water that's all, you know, crazy. And sure enough, I had a smallmouth on it. It hit right away, and it was a good fight. You know, I'm fighting the current and I'm fighting the fish, and that fish wasn't going to give up. So it was a lot of fun. And there's this guy and his kid, and the dad. He not really a fisherman. About what he knew is what his dad told him when he was a kid, which wasn't much at all. And his kid really wanted to fish, so he went out and got him a rod and reel, and they went down there and they were using worms. And as soon as I got that fish on, they were over there and they were just like, oh, you know, all excited about it. And I caught the fish and, you know, showed him the fish and took a picture, put it back. And the kid, you know, was kind of his head was kind of hung low, like kind of bummed that he hadn't caught one. The dad came over and he's like, do you mind me asking what you're using? And I said, not at all. So I ended up giving him a couple plastics and a couple jigs, and tied it on for him. He didn't know how to tie it on, so I was teaching him, showing him. My friend and I were, we're like, come on, come with us, and we'll get him on some fish. Unfortunately, the fish weren't biting that very good that day, so none of us got another fish after that. But we were able to teach him some techniques, and I showed him my rod and reel and let him play with that for a little bit, and just learning what different things feel like in the river. And I think he really walked away with a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of, I guess, just a little pride in knowing next time when he goes down there that he knows what he's doing a little bit. So, I really think that it's good for fishermen to share their experiences and not, keep it all to themselves. I understand, conservation nowadays and stuff, which is very important to me also, but some of these guys, most of the people out there, they just want to catch fish. They doing it because they want that feeling too of hooking that fish and having that feeling, and just because they love it. And kids, I mean, the kids it's important for these kids to fish and to experience that. With all this stuff going on today, it's just, I think it's really important for them, if they really want to learn, that all of us, kind of help out and show them what we can and get them excited about it, so they spend their time there, not somewhere else getting into trouble. So, yeah, like I said, walleye is pretty much what I love to chase. Late fall is where it's at for me. The rest of the year, I'll chase whatever's biting at the time. Lake trout are a lot of fun to play with. We go up to Milwaukee and just jig. We'll use gulp, and we'll throw it down to the bottom at 40 feet and just jig it up 6 inches, drop it, jig it up 6 inches, and then, man, when they hit, it's a lot of fun. They hit so hard, you feel like you're going to go in the water. And you're fighting them every step of the way to where your forearm's just killing you. And then all of a sudden they'll see the boat and they'll take off right back down to the bottom. So yeah, they're a whole lot of fun to play with too. As far as where I want to take this, a lot of people ask me that. They're like, well, you should have your own show. You love talking to people about it. You should teach people. What about guiding? And everybody knows that I breathe this. I love fishing so much. That's all I ever want to do. Personally, I would love to have a show one day where I could, give people tips, give the confidence to the kids and the single moms out there, and just the moms in general to get out there too. It doesn't have to be just, dad and son. It's evolved into a sport that anybody can enjoy, men, women, kids. I like to see the families out there all together fishing and enjoying it. And I do see a lot more women coming out to the different fishing shows and stuff, and I think that's great. They don't know where to start. They're intimidated by it. I've never had that in me. I don't get intimidated very easy. So if there's something I want to do and someone says, oh, you can't do that, that doesn't work for me.